I didn't misspell my name this time. I'm proud of myself. I actually feel like, uh, maybe that Garden City, Kansas education did something. It taught me how to spell my own name. Thrilling. Hey everybody, how's it going? Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. And we're back to a regular podcast. I can't remember what these are like after last week. It seemed to me like I was on one that was a little bit different than the other ones, and we're going to be talking about that after our first segment. But as you guys can see behind me, we are thrilled to have the Goddess of the Grape joining us, Stephanie Simoes. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, Zach. Happy to be here. How are you doing?
Knowing that I'm not going to be sitting here for 22 hours, I'm pretty happy with that.
You are a rock star for that.
I love the reason why we do it. I love the fact that we got to hear all the stories that we got to hear. I cannot wait until we have more interaction with the people, and it grows a little bit, because you joined us very early in the morning, because you were trying to get your family up and running, and it was a perfect time and doing things. But our guest tonight is one perfect example that my craziness, I forgot to reach out to him properly, and things got lost in the shuffle, and it's absolutely my fault on that. But I mean, I am so glad that we're back at this, and we're starting with rescue residents. You introduced me to Daniel, and why don't you tell people real quick how you heard about him, and then we're going to bring him on because he's kind of in a difficult situation. So. Uh-oh. Did I freeze or did you freeze? I don't know who froze here, but I think. Okay, I heard you for a second. Yeah, we had you come on for a second there, Stephanie. I don't know what's going on. But one of us is freezing.
Am I back?
You're back. Oh, okay. Well, while Stephanie is rejoining us, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to bring on Daniel Ballou. He is the founder of Rescue Residents. Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing good. I'm going to actually pull off to a spot so we don't go through this mountain pass and then lose all signal and lose me, the same as we kind of lost Stephanie there for a sec.
Yeah. That this internet, it's supposed to make life easy, I thought. It doesn't always do that.
It's an easier conversation than it would be if we didn't have the internet, because then we wouldn't be able to have the conversation at all.
That is true. And holding those old phones up to your ears, that they weren't always all that fun. So, and we're going to be joined now again by the Goddess of the Grape. She's here. So, hey, as we were talking stuff, it's the internet. So we do have Daniel Ballou with us. He is the founder and executive director of Rescue and Residents. Daniel, why don't you go ahead and tell us, what is your mission? What are you doing? Because it is something I have never heard before, and I love it. I think it's such a great waste, our use of resources, of wasted resources at this point.
Yeah. So I guess I'll say that parts of it are not unique, right? So the idea of a holistic program that identifies veterans that are currently experiencing homelessness and follows them all the way from like bringing them into the program, addressing the issues that they're personally facing, getting them job training and skills training or whatever it is, and then helping them place them like into a job, and then following them all the way basically from currently in the state that they are to the place where they want to be. That concept on its own isn't entirely new. It is being executed in some places very well. And so following that model as a requirement, like it needs to be a holistic program where it's not just one niche piece, is something I really wanted to get after. But I think the unique piece, which is kind of where you're going after it, is when they come out to our site and join into our program, we'll have them live in homes that are on our campus site while they go through those processes, both the personal development stuff and then the job training and then job identification and placement. But while they're living there, they're living in a tiny home that is a converted retired ambulance, right? So we convert that over into a tiny home, and it's an ambulance that is a home that they can also then take to these events with us, discuss where they're at in their process with people who are looking to help support them in that mission of getting them back onto their feet. And while they're living in those, they'll live in a couple of different layouts as a part of what we have on site. We have different layouts inside each ambulance, and then they'll figure out the things they like and the things that they don't like about each of those layouts. And then with our team, they'll basically design and convert over an ambulance of their own. So they'll do the work with us. They'll actually participate in the process. They'll be a really important part of building this home that becomes their only home, that they can then drive and move with their home and their new skill and that new job to a new location, and basically be able to kind of really get a fresh start in a new place and start from a place that at least provides them with a safe space that is their own, and it's something they put their own blood, sweat, and tears into, and are way more connected with that home than a lot of programs where you're kind of just placed into like a regular apartment, and the value you place on that apartment itself will only ever be as much as they just want to provide to it. But if it's something that they built with their own hands, it's a whole lot harder to not put a lot of value into that thing. So,
when you and I talked a couple weeks ago, one of the things that I brought up is that come worst case scenario, when these heroes when they get their home, they're not ever going to be stuck in a situation where they don't. You're kind of helping them out with many different things at once. It's not just a place to lay their head. There's training, there's skills, there's everything involved in this. And I just want to share this because your website is one of the things that look, shock and awe is every once in a while a great thing to have.
Yeah.
The opening scene on your website is just shocking. It's the line of the tents with the American flag in it. And it proves one of the huge problems that we have in America.
It does. And
go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would say it does. And so that photo is from Los Angeles, right in front of the VA center. So those tents were placed along the fence line. They were provided by the VA. They were set up so that there's at least some kind of organized setup for people to be able to stay in. And it's an older photo, so it's at least a year old, because I think it was almost actually exactly a year ago. I think it was in April of 2022. All of the tents were moved from being outside of the VA compound to inside the fence, still organized and on the grass, but inside a space where they can secure the gate and kind of make it a little bit safer for the people who are staying there, rather than being directly on the street where there was an accident. Basically, someone came out of their tent and got hit by a car, so they wanted to make sure to kind of that's a problem they didn't want to have, so they moved them into the space. And so it's a little better, but the numbers are still pretty bad. Those numbers are from 2020. I know that the last point in time count showed that veteran homelessness has actually improved. We're down, I think, 10% from 2020 to now. So that's a significant improvement, but it's still a problem, and it's still something that needs to be worked on by organizations like mine and others. So,
we're just scrolling through the first page of your website here, and we're seeing a lot of things that are just, I'm just going to go back up here to this.
Yeah.
That is such a wonderful picture, knowing that, you were there to help somebody put this together. And this is going to solve a huge problem in someone's life.
Yeah. And so to be clear on the photos on there, those are example builds.
Right.
So I've made really good friends with quite a few people who have done ambulance conversions. So those are photos of designs that I can I can point you to those people's pages on Instagram too. One of my favorite ones is that top one, and that's the ambulance's name is Tanya, and it's a couple that travel around, and they're really, really cool people. But their layout is one of my favorite like concepts, and it's definitely the one. Other than they have a real big focus on a lot of propane accessories, basically like their gas stove and oven, and they have their heat is done by propane. And for me, one of the things I want to try to avoid, at least with our programs mostly, is an additional expense like needing to constantly fill propane tanks. So ideally we'll work primarily off of solar and then a larger battery bank than they have, because we would be running without as much propane. So that way, okay, I need to cook something. It's really just about finding some sunlight and letting the batteries charge. Worst case scenario, if you didn't have the money. So that's kind of one of the considerations I have, is depending on where they're going forward, I would recommend to most of our participants to not add expenses like an additional diesel heater or an additional propane heater if you don't have to, and you don't know that you'll have the means to be able to pay for additional propane tanks later.
How did this begin?
So I was homeless as a teenager. So I have lived experience as someone who's been homeless. And the way that you feel each day, wondering where you're either going to sleep tonight or whether or not you're going to be able to find somewhere to stay and have a good meal. And so I can connect on the homelessness side of things. And then personally being a veteran, and in the conversations I've had with the VA and those who are, have been my first few interviews, parts of the struggle is it's hard for a lot of veterans too, to just straight up accept a handout and just move into a program where you're kind of being carried through everything. So that's why I think an appeal to our program is each step of the way is pretty much they're doing the work. We're just helping them get into a position where they can do all of the work necessary to get themselves back on their feet. And having that come from another veteran and who can tell them, like, I understand where you're coming from, both on the homeless front and as active duty Marine for 23 years, I can understand and connect better with them than a lot of people can. And then, so that's me. And that's always been a part of me and my background, and not like it's been forefront in my mind thinking about it, but in the summer of 2021, we needed to get my son from here in Southern California to college in Pensacola, Florida. It was still pretty heavy COVID. We didn't want to get on planes. So we as a family decided we were going to get our own RV and truck down to Pensacola. So that way we could stop at rest stops and not need to use public spaces. Basically never need to see another person for the whole, 4 or 5 days it would take us to drive down there. So then as I'm researching, trying to figure out what kind of RVs we would like and what we would want to do, fall in the rabbit hole of vehicle conversions, and then learn about all the different kinds, buses and, schoolies and charter bus, like double deckers. Some people do double decker ones, but then stumbled across the ambulance builds. And I think a lot of different things all just kind of started to click together in my head that this kind of a solution, not just as a tiny home option, because there are tiny home villages as one of the things you kind of come across when you're looking at these things, which are fixed, but it's the mobility piece as one, like the idea that you're around all these people. They're probably the same people who you were around when you originally ended up going into homelessness. And then if you get out of it, you're probably still gonna be around those same people if you're still in the same town, still in the same neighborhood. So programs need to exist that allow people to potentially choose to completely escape away and try to do a fresh start somewhere. And why not have that escape vehicle also be the home itself? And it just kind of all started to click together. And I did a lot of marketing classes early on in my education career, and understood that a good symbolism, a good message piece as a part of it helps. And the fact that these vehicles were originally designed to rescue people, and that we all know that, we all see them and connect with it in that way, that for them to continue doing that in a second life, the same way we're having our program participants kind of get a fresh start in a second life, I think is an important symbolism and an important, automatically understood part of the way we're kind of developing this out. So.
Stephanie and I were honored by you introducing us to your daughter before we get started, and now we know that your other half is in the car. What is your family? What is your better half? I'm sorry. Let me do this right. I really shouldn't say that. I don't know you, but
you're right. You're right.
But,
she's right there. You're 100%.
Yeah. She's definitely the better half when she's sitting that close. I know. I'm married too. So, how important is the family aspect of this? Because you do know that, homelessness does exist when families are involved as well.
Yeah, and I think so on there. Well, for my family part of it, we all understand what's going on it. I think this Saturday actually will my daughter and I will be probably spending some time doing some of the internal removal stuff for our very first ambulance. So we're going to be doing a little bit of gutting ourselves. So we're all involved with it. It's new, and I think exploring this is kind of something we're all trying to figure out. I've never really been this significantly involved in a nonprofit or done anything like this, so it's definitely a new adventure for everybody. But for those veterans that are experiencing homelessness with their family at the same time, unfortunately, our program probably might not be a good fit early on, at least. Like if you have 4 kids or 3 kids, like living inside 110, 112 square feet just is probably not a good solution. We did kind of discuss on the last board meeting some options for either tow behind trailer sections that could add some extra bed space. So then you kind of make the ambulance portion living room only and kitchen only or whatever, and then have enough bed space in like something that you could tow. Because most of these vehicles, the ambulances that are towing have the ambulance built on it, can also have additional tow capacity. So you could still tow like a second trailer that could be the bed space. I'm not sure how much we need to kind of look at our demographics and figure out if that's a target audience that is really in need of what it is we're providing, or are we pairing them with another program that's a better fit. And that's kind of where right now for sure we're going to go, is try to pair them with a program that will really take care of them. Because unlike I think what a target for ours is, they have a built-in internal support system. So when they do get into an apartment and start getting placed into a training and into a job, their family is there to help support them and help them succeed in that, where someone who's kind of working through this on their own may only have people around them who aren't supporting them, aren't really taking care of them, or maybe pulling them back down.
You still, you're still proudly serving our country. And what are some of the reactions that you're getting from some of your fellow service people?
I mean,
by the way, I love the little smirk. It's kind of like going, wow, I could tell you what that guy said, but I'm not sure if that I want to get that far.
Yeah. So a big part of it is really like excited about what it is we're doing and really proud of it. But the smirk, I think, was mostly like, I get the question, I got it quite a few times. So when we talked a couple weeks ago, I was at AFCEA West. It's a conference down in San Diego. And I was explaining this to a retired colonel that I've known for years. And he was like, how do you have time to do all of the things that you do? I was like, well, for one, I just don't sleep very well anyways. So there's plenty of hours to work on stuff, but just there's more time in our days, honestly, than most of us realize, if you can get others to help with things. And so I think when you have a mission or a program or something like this, where a lot of people believe in the idea and the concept when they understand it, it's a lot easier to kind of start getting more people to kind of help in as many ways as you can. So I'm working at that. I'm still not great at it, but I need to have people willing to support and distribute the load. So it's also being slow rolled, to be honest. We're kind of just getting started. So the goals are pretty small. Like, as long as I keep making a little bit of progress, then I know I'm doing something. So.
Well, a lot of you guys know, a lot of you guys have joined us before, and this is simply what we're doing. Stephanie, do you want to go on ahead and introduce your flyer?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to say, Daniel, I'm so glad that we finally were able to put this together. I wanted to get you on this show with Community Pay It Forward for a while now. Their mission has inspired us. Zach knows a little bit about what we're kind of working on all the way on the East Coast here. And I think it's really, really cool what you guys are doing. And I must say, he is very good at social media, because that's how we connected, was through Instagram. And he actually does take you through the process and the steps, and like breaking up the pallets and the wood that they're using and all those things. So if you're not following Rescue Residents on Instagram, definitely check them out. But what you see on the screen, oh, sorry. What you see on the screen is the QR code to the open fundraising link for this month. You can take out your phone and just hold it up to that QR code. It'll take you right to the fundraiser for rescue residents, where any purchase is going to give back and support their cause.
Well, I know that, Daniel, like when Stephanie first told me about what you guys were doing, I was like going, that's crazy. I don't understand how it was doing. Then I saw you a little bit about, and then I talked to you and I was like, I love the fact that you're so driven to do this. And I appreciate everything that, that you personally put into this. And the reason I asked the question about the family is I know that and Stephanie knows as well, when you're able to get your kids involved with doing this, when I had my kids and they went out and we would give away free clothing and stuff to people who needed it, it always made you feel good that you were doing it, but it made you feel 10 times better watching your child get involved with it, watching your, the other people around you getting involved with what you're doing. And so I know that I congratulate you on everything that you're doing. You're going to be joining us again here in 2 weeks. You guys just today had quite a snowstorm, so I know that you're having a difficult time with some traffic and stuff. So we don't want to keep you too much. But the one thing I do want to ask you, and I'll try to keep this brief. What could the money potentially do to help you? How could it help you guys?
Okay. I mean, honestly, like at this point too, some expenses are very straightforward and very simple, where it's almost kind of silly sounding. So this is a vehicle, right? So I have an ambulance that I have to get registered. And right now, one of the things I'm dealing with is it's really expensive to register a vehicle that's very heavy and that you actually purchased for a reasonable price, even though I purchased it out of state, when you're doing all of that in California. So our first go at registration for this first ambulance was $440. That was with an estimated weight of like around 4,500 pounds for the vehicle. And they'd said, hey, you should be able to get a tax exemption from California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, whatever. Well, they don't have an exemption for nonprofits using vehicles and the way you register them. You can't register as tax exempt if it's being used for a nonprofit as the sole reason for it, even though like this will also be specifically a home or like an RV kind of setup that someone will actually live in as part of them. Doesn't matter. So I still have to pay taxes on the purchase of the vehicle, even though I bought it at auction, and it was located in Ohio. So I still have to go back to the registration office and pay those taxes. And then I had to get an official weight ticket, and the actual weight of it was about 9,000 pounds. So it's going to be more like $800 for the registration portion instead of the $400. And then I still have to pay the tax office. So like, honestly, money right now would be able to go to basic, simple things as I'm building these processes out, like even just registering the vehicle that we have to become our first on-site home. And then next thing I would think to spend money on would be for us to be able to do the actual conversions. So we're looking at purchasing solar panels, purchasing batteries, purchasing the entire power system, basically all the battery management system, inverters, and then we would look at internals for the actual like RV type amenities itself, a small electric stove, some kind of shower and water systems and other things like that. So it would be then after just basic stuff of registering and legally being able to drive this vehicle around, doing the stuff that we need to do next, which is converting the vehicle over so it can become a home.
And this is the last question. I'll ask Stephanie if she's got anything for you. But my last question for you is, in your future scenario, when if you can take a look into your crystal ball, how quickly are you wanting to get these going from auction item to living space?
Okay, yeah. So a reasonable timeline would be 3 months, right? So 3 to 4 months, purchased, brought in, gutted, converted, including registration and other stuff, and vinyl wrapped. And so then the idea would be the full process for an individual, including like handling their own personal development stuff, plus then job training and then doing their vehicle conversion is like 6 months. So each person would join into the program, probably take about 6 months to go from moving into our facility and then moving out with their own home and a job somewhere else in the country, and a plan of how to get there, the funds to be able to have fuel and everything to get there and live in a location. So ideally it's either, a lot of states have state parks that are totally free for veterans to use and park on like RV parking spots. Or we're looking to, I've already contacted a couple and there's some pretty good feedback so far, but no, contracts, but like some RV park type places that have national footprints, they could let us into the, like, basically allow them to stay there either at a reduced rate or for free for a period of time. So about 6 months, I guess, the short answer.
All right. And one of the things that Daniel and I did talk about, and I just want to make this a mention to all of you people, all of the businesses out there, there is a potential, and we're not willing to speak on this too much yet. There's a potential for for your business to be seen in a very, very large way by a lot of people. If you want to take and sponsor Daniel to help him do this, they are definitely looking for sponsors, and there's something coming up. There's a project that they're working on right now. It's not finalized. That's the reason why we're not going to bring it up, but they are looking for sponsors. They're looking for people to step in and say, you know what, I love what you're doing. We want to be part of it. And, we can get this started here in California, but I don't see why we can't roll this all over the world, all over the country. So if you guys need me to make an introduction to Daniel, or of course, the goddess of the grapes, Stephanie, she can also introduce you to this wonderful man. And you guys can talk a little bit further and probably a lot less vague than what I just did. But I just wanted to give you the little bit of, there is a need, and this need is going to be pretty darn cool. So...
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I know he's driving. But I did want to ask, if anyone is local to you or has the means to get anything other than monetary, obviously they need donations, right? To keep the ball rolling, because these homes can't be built without money. But are there any other donations that might be helpful, supplies for the build, or, access to discounted solar, like you mentioned before? Like, are there anything specifically that if somebody wanted to donate items to you that you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm so afraid that we're going to lose him in the mountains, but
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's one of the questions that we're going to have to ask Daniel next time. But Daniel, hopefully you can hear us and you get your family home safe. We wish you the best. And we'll contact you. We'll contact you in the next couple of days and make sure that everything gets kept up with this. But please get your family home safe, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. So, but thank you very much for joining us. So, but we're just going to leave him on for a little bit and see if he's able to pop back on and join us. Besides that, he's a good-looking guy. He kind of makes the show look a lot better than me. Oh, there he goes. He took off on his own. I tried to give him a compliment. He was like going, I ain't doing that. So, but Stephanie, we run into a lot of people. You and I run into a lot of people, and we talk to a lot of people who are willing to do a lot of really cool things. This is one of those things that this is what I mean. When it comes to nonprofits, this is kind of like the manliest nonprofit that we've ever had, because this is that guy getting out there with a wrench and an ambulance and going, damn it, this was a lifesaver once before. It's going to become so much more now. And it is really, honestly, one of the coolest ideas I've ever heard of.
I love it. And, I know what their mission is about, but hearing him speak on it in that way and just correlating it to ambulances save lives, and they can in their second life. Incredible. I think what they're doing is really, really cool. And I joke with him sometimes, you're on the West Coast doing something. We're on the East Coast trying to do the same thing in a different way. But it's something that's not spoken about often. with our background, with my husband being a contractor, you hear so much about Airbnbs and this kind of construction and that kind of build. And you don't hear so much that veterans need housing. So
we were able to get him to come back on. Daniel, her question for you real quick was, other than monetary, are there anything that people could donate, maybe in your area, people with mechanical skills or solar panels or any of that? What are some of the other things that people can donate? Say the monetary part is just not there. Of course, we're going to want to buy some wine to support you, but what are some of the other things that people can offer up that would really be beneficial?
Yeah, so like any of those things you mentioned that are, what you would think of would go into an RV or a vehicle conversion build. So we're looking at solar panels, anything with the power systems, anything you think might go into or come out of an RV or a vehicle conversion like that would be great. And then we're honestly building, think of it as like a location that is a community, like a campus together, right? And it should have everything that needs to care for anybody participating in it. So we're working with some local charities as well, but donations on this front always work too, which is, just clothing. So if they have needs for clothing. And since we'll be working on these vehicles, we're looking towards coveralls and other things we can get, any tools that we might need to work on the vehicles. I have one orbital sander, right? So, I mean, like when I'm sanding things down, and I could bring in 10 volunteers to help me sand down the side of a vehicle, but I got one sander. So the volunteers are all just looking at each other. It doesn't really help much, right? So tools and stuff to get those jobs done. And then we actually did manage to partner with another local charity. So right now we're pretty good with this on this front, but food too. So we're going to plan to have on site the ability for them to cook not only inside their ambulances, but we're going to try to put together one basically like cooking and dining kind of facility area where the long-term plan would be to provide meals to the community from our program participants cooking on site and like providing a dinner that anybody could pay kind of what they want to help fund the programs too. And so honestly, like donated food that is non-perishables and things like that can help us get this stuff up and going.
We will definitely start getting a list built for you. Thank you very much for pulling over and joining us again. And Daniel and I have been talking. Hopefully, we're going to be adding him to the community pay it forward list here very, very soon, so we can be helping him there as well. But and where are you guys at in California, just so people can?
So the organization is actually located in a town called Yucca Valley, but so it's just north of Palm Springs. If you know where the Joshua Tree National Park is, driving home from Marine Corps Base in 29 Palms today, Joshua Tree National Park completely blanketed in snow. Definitely an interesting look, not a thing that I'm used to seeing. You see all the desert rock plus like the cactus tree type things, the Joshua trees. It was definitely an interesting look today, but it's a beautiful area. Most people who think desert think just sand dunes, and most deserts are different than that. And there's definitely a lot of life here. It's kind of a unique thing.
Well, again, Daniel, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Please be safe, getting your family home, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. We'll be talking back and forth in between then to make this go. But if you've got one last thing you'd like to say to people, it would be.
I was just going to say thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate your time too. And we lost you in the mountain pass because it go between. There's absolutely no signal there, so we're now stopped up here. We're gonna grab some dinner and then head back to the house. So I just I guess what I could end with is I learned a lesson, and I've been teaching it to others because it's uncomfortable for veterans a lot of times to know how to respond when people say thank you for your service. So most of us either just also say you're welcome, but that's not necessarily I think what the other person's looking for in response either. And so I learned from a book by a Medal of Honor winner that said basically he had this anecdote at the beginning of the book where he comes out from one of his speeches and gets into the car, and the driver who's been his driver for weeks, it's the same guy he's been going to all these speaking engagements with, as he gets in the car still says to him, he's like, oh, thank you for your service before going to the next thing. And for some reason he doesn't even know why he did it to this day. He says to him, you're worth it. And they both like look at each other in the mirror, and it take a second to like connect. They're both kind of like just baffled by the connection that created between people. So for the veterans who are watching, and for those that maybe had never heard that before, when someone does thank you for your service, you can thank them basically by saying that they're worth it. Because that's, for us, a lot of us, it's not necessarily serving for the thanks. We're serving because we want to serve our people. We want to serve this community. We want to serve this nation and the people who make it up. And so you can respond to that in a way that makes a better connection between each of you. And so for anybody who would be thanking me for my service, as you did earlier or whatever, I just wanted you to know that you're worth it.
That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statement, and I appreciate that. I truly, truly do. So, but once again, Daniel, thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you really, really soon. Okay. Good luck, and we'll be sending you all this information for you to share it out with everybody. And please, folks, let's share this. Let's help Daniel and his family get started and get going on this. And this is a real chance. As I was saying earlier, this is a chance to send a machine that was built to save lives, to let it continue that after its mission as an ambulance. I mean, I think it's such a great program. I really do. So congratulations, keep up the great work, and thank you very much, sir.
I will. Thank you for having me on.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. So yeah, again, Stephanie, I mean, it was so fantastic having him on, because it's a neat thing. It's not like any nonprofit that we have on is boring. Okay. But like I said,
No.
it is the manliest nonprofit that we've ever had. I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to pull out my wrenches. And I love how he's going to have his daughter in there and tearing it apart. I think that is so cool. It's like, get the family involved, but I mean, you think of somebody taking and there was an old TV show called Monster House. I don't know if you ever watched that, but they took a dream of yours and they turned your house into that dream. There was one where they turned it like the backyard and the family room into like a hockey rink, and I'm just like going, oh my God, I'm in love. So they had this big old barbecue in the back with a raising TV and all this stuff. So, but this is kind of that same idea with what he's doing. He's putting his passion for people who are going through a really tough time, and he's not just talking, he's doing something about it.
And I love, because I've been following them for quite some time now, they take you on the journey with them. You knew when they were going to pick up that ambulance. You were on the journey with them. You saw their ETA, their arrival time, the anticipation to getting there, and they traveled across the country into Ohio from California to go pick that thing up. It's, it was incredible to watch, and then bringing it back and seeing, step by step, all the things. So definitely, if you're not yet, with no AC, he said, if you're not following them, definitely check it out, because you see clips of all the hard work and, every step of the way, and you really feel like you're a part of the journey with them, even if you're like me across the country. So, really, really cool. And I appreciate so much what they're doing.
Well, Stephanie, we're going to do the thing that we had done before, but we hadn't done in a while. Why don't you go on ahead and tell people, what am I drinking?
Oh, I am so glad you got your wine, Zach.
Yes.
So you are sampling the new Love Language Collection red wine blend. It tends to be, I would say, in our portfolio right now, it is on the sweeter side of our reds. I would say our sweetest right now is our Frizzante, which has a little bit of a fizz to it. It's not a bubbly, but fizz. But that is on the sweeter side for our red wines. But I actually have something really totally different that I want to introduce tonight, because it's not every day.
Yeah, but to do that, I got to start working. I got to put the wine down. That's no fair.
Oh, no. You don't have to start working. Just sip. I'll talk for a little bit.
Well, yes, you guys do have something brand new.
Yeah, but for those who haven't seen the show yet or might be new, because I know everybody is sharing this around, because it costs nothing to share this podcast around, this live stream. Please share it. The more people we can reach, the bigger the impact we can make for rescue residents. My name is Stephanie Simoes. I am a cause entrepreneur with One Hope Wine. So what I do is I specialize in fundraising, gifting, private wine events, and wine delivery. And I love that we get to do this every month, Zach, because we get to highlight these incredible nonprofits, see what they're, looking to do with their mission. And even if they're focused on veterans, like, it's always in a different way. And I connected so much personally with what Rescue Residents has been doing. So, really, really excited to be here. All right, let's dive in because we're going to talk margaritas pretty soon. I put a sneak peek on the page earlier today. If anybody saw, it's not every day the wine company brings out a margarita style wine. So really excited to launch this. It is available today on the website. And if you haven't heard of One Hope before, as a company to date, we've donated over $9 million to over 37,000 different nonprofit organizations. So I like to call this the platform to really be able to do good in our local communities and do good and give back to the causes that we're most passionate about and we care about the most. Not to knock the big organizations, but they do get a lot of eyes on them and funding. And having this platform every month with you, Zach, we have the ability to bring on these smaller nonprofit organizations, talk about their mission, and really be able to help them. So really cool. Some of our winemakers, Robert Mondavi Jr., Mari Wells Coyle, who came over from Sterling Vineyards. She's absolutely incredible. And think of it this way, every single bottle of wine that we sell actually gives back twice. Once to the One Hope Foundation, where our main pillars of giving are for clean water, ending hunger, health and education initiatives, but in addition to Rescue Residents this month. So really excited about that. And not just this month, because if you love their mission, you can actually select their organization in your account, and anytime you order wine or get a wine club shipment, the donation goes right to them. So that's a really cool fun fact that we have that feature on the website now.
Yep.
All right. I think it's time to dive in. Are you still there, Zach? I don't see
yeah, I'm still I'm just looking at the strawberries and I kind of take offense to the whole big guys thing. I'm a big guy. I'm just I just weigh a lot.
That's not what I mean.
Not really a big guy. I just weigh a lot.
That have more eyes on them, and have the ability to get featured in different ways, and have the money for that kind of marketing. Where these smaller organizations don't have the funds for that. So this is a way to really get their story in front of other people. So definitely share this around if you're watching.
This is one of those things. One of the reasons why I love the smaller nonprofits is because you know what? A lot of times in the bigger organizations, you ask people, how did this get started? And there's that's not going to happen here.
Right.
You're going to ask Daniel how this started, and he's going to tell you how it started. Okay. We're lucky enough to be able to tell his story and tell people what they do. And then we're hoping that 2 or 3 other people tell what they heard here today. And then 2 and 3 more will tell them, just on and on and on. And there's no reason why something like, there's no reason why this should not be huge, because this is something that, like I said, the simplistic idea with a huge benefit to everyone. And, this truly proves that, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. What he's doing, by helping one person at a time with a home, he's helping tons of people by teaching, by skills, and let's be honest, by getting people off the streets. He made mention that they had to move them inside the gate because somebody got hit by a car. This is getting them even more of a rescue from that. This is getting them into their own little their own little piece of heaven. Let's be honest here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
this is a home for them, and I love it.
And I think that this is going to cause a ripple effect too, because that person learning the skills, doing the build, hands-on, is going to feel inspired and helped and motivated to then go ahead and, you know, pay it forward after that, you know? So really, really cool. And it's true. You don't hear every day, you know, hey, you know, this person was walking out of the tent that they were sleeping in and got hit by a car. That's shocking, but it needs to be said. Because it's a true problem. The homelessness problem is a true problem that's not spoken about enough.
It's one of those things that we were saying the other night when we were doing the 22-hour podcast, that, you know, there's so many things that are reported, but if you leave it up to certain people, what they report is what they need you to hear.
Right.
When you get into a smaller nonprofit like the ones that we thankfully get to work with, we get to hear the reality of it. That, look, this is the reason why we're here. This is, you know, this is the bridge that we came across. I love his openness on, I was a homeless teen. So there's that bridge. And he is building, or there's that pothole, and he's building that bridge over that pothole. He saw the need. He saw, you know, on a family trip, nonetheless. How cool is that? You know, you go on a family trip and it inspires something like this. I mean, it's just, look, inspiration can be found anywhere at any time. And you know, I do. I'm asking you guys, please go to rescueresidents.org and check it out, you know, and find out more. He's got a mailing list. Get on that mailing list. Find out what they're doing. Follow them. Take and buy yourself a wine. 10% of that wine goes to help Daniel this month. You can add him to your list to where you're helping him every month. Okay. But the thing is that this is great. And this is helping so many people. And all we're asking you to do is, you know, we all enjoy a little bit of fun. Well, wine's a little bit of fun. Kind of like margaritas, huh?
Good segue into the margaritas. So yes. And I actually have the bottles right here with me, but yes, that's a beautiful photo. Keep that one up. So today, our new collection called Wild Things has released. So we now have available both lime and strawberry Wild Things margaritas. And they are made from agave wine. This was something new to me, Zach, that I needed to learn a little bit about before coming here today, because I'm obviously not a winemaker. So you might be asking, what is agave wine? Agave wine is a fortified wine made from fermented blue agave. So unlike tequila, after fermentation, it is not distilled. By only fermenting the agave, you end up with a wine margarita, which is much lower in alcohol with similar flavors to tequila. I will say this is a sweeter wine. I got to taste this much of it because I needed to know what I was talking about. So we have a lime and we have a strawberry. The lime has, of course, zesty flavors of lime. It's tangy and bright. The strawberry agave wine margarita is sweet and juicy with flavors of ripe strawberry. I got to sip just a tiny bit of the strawberry one. It is sweet. It is delicious. And it's so easy. How can you drink it? It's really simple. You can just pour it over some ice. Simple as that. Pour it over some ice. You can pop it in the fridge first. Make sure it's chilled, but super simple. You can also make it a spritz. You can add bubbly, such as our Vintner Collection Sparkling Brut, which I love so much. You know, you've tried that bubbly before, Zach, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you can make it a spritz that way. And you can also rim the glass with salt or sugar. And you're ready to go. So both both of the wines are made of 100% blue agave, and they are gluten-free. So I wanted to highlight that too, because I thought that was really cool. I know those photos are beautiful, right? Much easier for you to see than me holding up the bottle here.
I love that crushing board. That's really that's a great effect on there.
Some people though can't drink hard liquor. So I wanted to highlight that this might be a good alternative where you still get, kind of that tequila flavor, but it's not hard liquor and it doesn't have the hard liquor alcohol content either. As I said, these wines are sweet. So if you're new to wine, or if you're normally a cocktail drinker, this might be a good fit for you. And a good introduction to One Hope. I love that they did something a little bit different with this new release. It's kind of exciting. Definitely check it out. What you can do, and I know Zach has another photo here in just a second, is you can add just one into a box, mix and match your box of your choice. You can go with, a mixed pack just of the margaritas mixed with lime and strawberry, or you can do the spritz mixed pack, which is what's shown here. And of course, as always, 4, 6, or 12 bottles, the more you purchase, the bigger the discount, the bigger the donation to rescue residents. And just to put it into perspective, you guys, for every case of wine that we sell, a minimum donation of $24 is being made. And with my additional donation, every approximately 2 cases is, a nice big donation. Every 2 cases, I'm donating another $25, to the organization. So we can really make a big impact this way. Stock your fridges for the warmer weather coming. I know I keep saying that, Zach, and he was just talking about snow in California. But I do know that Daniel and some of those board members do enjoy sweet wine. So I think that this is going to be a really great selection for them to sample next.
I do think it is kind of hard to tell people, summer's coming when it's snowing in California. I think that it's kind of hard to convince them of that. It's like, hey, look, we're right around the corner from, 80-degree days, 100-degree days where everybody's going to be, but it snowed in California today. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, that doesn't sound right. There's no mixing involved in these, is there? It's just you open, chill, consume.
Yep. There's no mixing at all. You don't have to, you don't have to shake anything up, mix anything up. You can add some bubbly to it if you would like, or you could just pour it over ice and sip, and it's good to go just the way it is.
I think I'm going to go ahead and Daniel's sitting there. Looks like they might be at Sonic, but I'm going to add him back on. Daniel, have you ever tried a tequila or margarita wine?
No. So we were just talking about these wines because and I was basically just describing everything Stephanie just said. Now we have so there's a little ice cream place and a burger shop next to each other. They're like mom and pop shops here in Morongo, and we stopped here. That's where we stopped at earlier. So we were ordering some food and some ice cream. So I got a little milkshake.
Hey, you know what? You've got me right there. I mean, I keep trying to fight to make it to where Dairy Queen becomes one of the essential food items, and I keep getting fought every day, so, but I don't know why they do that. But so you've I've never even heard of now, last New Year's, I had a lady who somehow, and look, if I still drank all the time, I could understand why she convinced me to buy this, but she convinced me to buy a chocolate wine.
How was it?
I couldn't ever bring myself to try it. I just couldn't do it. I hate to say I chickened out. I'm like, I watched Adrian drink it or pour a little bit of it, and I was like, no. Hey, it's kind of weird. That's like when they started doing stuff with like the tequila rose and making like the strawberry stuff there. I'm just, to me, that's just like, oh no, that's not just a bad next morning. That's a bad that night. So it was weird, but I am interested in these. And and you can add these to the cases, or
yeah, you can mix and match a box if you'd like, you know, throw one or both into your box, or you can go with the mix pack that's, you know, available on the website, whether the spritz or just the margarita mixes. Well, I'm saying mixes, but mix of the lime and the strawberry. That's what I meant. Came out like we're mixing stuff. We're not mixing anything. But I know that you tend to like the sweeter wines, Zach. And I believe, Daniel, the sweeter wines were a hit with your crew also.
That is usually where ours goes. Yeah, it's kind of towards
and if you go in that direction, like into like Moscatos and things like that, you're probably going to like these because they tend to be sweeter.
Again,
yeah, and I had never heard of agave wine. That's why I was like, we mentioned it. I was like, oh, interesting. I mean, it makes sense that you could do it. I just had never heard that it was being done. So that's pretty cool and be worth trying.
Yeah, totally new to me too.
Daniel, where can you be found on social media?
So on Instagram and on Facebook, I have also just myself, which is just daniel.baloo. And then for the organization, pretty much everywhere you can find us at rescue residents of some kind. So most places it's just all together one word. I think on Instagram it's rescue_residents maybe. And then Twitter is the only one where someone already had that. And so it's res_plus_res, like the words all spelled out. So that's the only one that's kind of weird.
Well, we're going to ask you to, when you get a chance, please go to join and go to our Facebook page, the Community Pay It Forward One Hope Wine fundraiser, and please share all that information, and have your crew get funny with it and try some new wines and tell us what they think. We really want to do well for you because we really do support everything that you're doing. So
yeah, I think now that these ones are out, it's definitely something new, and we'll probably do kind of like what we did last time, Stephanie. We'll order a box, and then we did like a live stream trying them all out together. So that was
fun.
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, we did have some technical difficulties at the beginning because we had the camera in a position. It was my phone, right, where it was still in direct sunlight while we were all sitting comfortably in the shade, and it overheated very quickly here in the desert. So we had to like move the camera and like start over the live stream. Okay, now the camera is also shaded. So that was an interesting.
So in other words, it was not snowing in California on that day.
Not that day. It was like, I think July. It was hot. It was real hot.
Ah, okay. So, but yeah, well, I really, really do appreciate both of you guys. I know, Stephanie, it's getting very, very late for you. And again, Daniel, please keep up the great work. If there's anything that we can do, please reach out. We want to support. We want to see this get as big as it can go.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was good talking to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And Stephanie, I will see you guys both in 2 weeks. Yes?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys very much. Goddess of the Grape, you can get a hold of her right here at her link tree. Just linktree.com, Steph Simoes. All you have to do is go there and she can answer any questions. It's going to have all the links that you need to find out more about Daniel and rescue residents and everything else, everyone else that we've run this program for. So, but we're going to be right back. We're going to be talking a little bit about the 22-hour podcast, and we're hoping to have a video game trailer joining us here soon. They have a trailer filled with many different types of video games where they just go out and they let kids do all, let the kids go outside and they're not all on your TV. So, you can still watch whatever you're watching. It's actually pretty cool. So they've got a couple of them here in the Colorado area. So
like a traveling arcade. That's so cool. My kids.
Yeah, it is. It is. And yeah, I mean, it's really neat because you can have, I believe it's like up to 15 kids playing at once.
Very
so cool. And you can have a couple different games going on at once, say a couple kids want to play Mario Kart and a couple kids want to play, Mortal Kombat or whatever they play. These darn kids today, I don't know. So I don't play any of that. And speaking of that, He had just pulled up. So we're going to be pulling in Darius here in just a minute. But Stephanie, thank you very much. And we will talk to you in 2 weeks, my dear.
Have a great night. Cheers.
Thank you. So I'm being joined now by Darius Mosley of NoCo Mobile Gaming. How are you doing, my friend? Long time no see.
What's going on, Zach? How are you? I'm doing well.
Well, doing good. I'm just we just got done talking about a wonderful nonprofit called Rescue Residents, where they're turning ambulances into tiny homes for people out in California. It's a really neat idea. I think, and one of the reasons why I'm really glad that we were able to bring you in on this is because they were talking about how, for a bigger family, what they could do is connect maybe a trailer to just give them a little bit of extra room or something. And that the reason that kind of mixes is because that's right down your alley. You've done something very unique with the trailer yourself, haven't you?
I have. I've done something entertaining, I would say, with the trailer.
Yes.
So, who I am Darius Mosley. I am owner of NoCo Mobile Gaming, which is a entertainment service where mobile games is a 16-foot trailer, and it has 3 TVs on the inside, 3 TVs on the outside, and all console gaming that you can think of. We have a Wii U, a Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switches, and we are gaming party entertainment. We come to your house, we park outside, and everybody that loves games or is having a party that day gets inside. We all play together, and we blast music, and we have a good time, and we dance, and we play games. And man, it's been a great experience. We've been doing it since 2019, and let me tell you, when I got into this, I didn't think it was going to be this fun, but it's been probably one of the greatest experiences of my life.
This is a program that's run by you and your lovely bride, and you guys, there's just no end to what you guys can do.
Correct. We've done festivals. We've done Father's Day parties. We were in Firestone for their Halloween thing. We did 4th of July. It being mobile is very useful. We can go anywhere, pretty much anywhere. Not everywhere. There's places you can't get trailers, but yeah, it's very, very well suited for on-the-go entertainment.
And you guys have over 150 games to choose from. What are some of your most popular games?
I would say the number one most popular games for a party setting with people playing together would be Gang Beasts right now. Gang Beasts is a game where there's these little guys, and they're kind of weird shaped, and they move in weird directions, and they're kind of floppy, and they just kind of rustle each other up and throw each other around. The kids love it. It's been on 1 screen to 2 screens at every single party. And sometimes there are even kids that are waiting to play that game. So we probably got to get a couple more copies for the trailer.
Darius, is there a game, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus like this, but is there a game that people ask for and you're going like, oh God, not again?
Well, with today's current climate, we used to have Grand Theft Auto on the truck. We have since pulled that down because we don't think that's appropriate. So there's times where people will request that. And just because of the climate right now, we are not offering that game.
I personally think that's great. I really do. I know that both of my kids at one point in time, they played that game, and it's not my thing. And right. I never really liked it all that much, but I like the way that, there's too much risk in that, isn't there?
Well, we pride ourselves on being a family entertainment company, you know, and I'm not knocking the people that like it. You like what you
Yeah,
play, what you play, you know, and but for right now as a business, we don't think it's appropriate.
right. Um, Darius, you are working on you would like to someday have a little bit of a stronger impact with youth in Denver. You would like to see some changes. What are some of the changes out there that you would like to partner with people to spearhead and see what you guys could do?
We'll just give more opportunities for the children to see different things, you know, different walks of life, different avenues of entrepreneurship, just to open up the possibilities in their mind to, you know, things that they could do, the things that they can be a part of in any way, shape, or form.
Is it kind of at a point where kids are just not given all of the information? Is there something that we can do to help make them more aware of what's out there? Because there's a lot of things. One of the things I hear from people all the time, and it drives me crazy, is that we have, it's today's society. It's the way that the kids are today. We're not open and honest with kids all the time, are we?
Huh. You know, I myself see the children that play in the trailer, and from my perspective, I think the younger generation is doing awesome. I think they have great attitudes, they have great manners and respect. As far as the troubled kids, I would look towards the community leaders that are actually in the organizations reaching out to people in need and ask that question. I don't think I would be a good person to express my opinion on that because I'm not connected. That would just be my outside thought of what I think could fix or what I think could work. But if you wanted an honest and true answer, I think we would connect with some community leaders that are actually in the epicenter of what's going on and ask them what help could we give to them in order to support their cause.
What is one thing that you would like to see people do every day that might be able to change the life of at least one child?
Change the life of at least one child.
Yeah, what is something that's very simple that somebody could do in your eyes that could really make a difference for a child? What's like one thing that they could do that would be simple?
Be simple. Let's see. Have a conversation with somebody you would not normally have a conversation with. Of course, always keep yourself safe, but go outside of your comfort zone. Experience different things that you wouldn't experience before, so you have that knowledge of wealth to give the children a different perspective. Because I think life is all about perspective, and the more experiences you have, that's wealth to me.
Our guest from the hour prior to you coming on would like to know if you ever have any plans to franchise, because
That would be amazing. You know, if I was to franchise, I think my idea behind it would be youth focused. And it's entertainment, but I would like to use that as a youth focused thing to help the youth in any way we can through gaming.
one of the things that you can focus on that you guys do here in northern Colorado is that you have been very involved with going out to family or to fundraising functions. This is a great way to get the younger generation to say, hey mom, let's stop and see what that's about, and maybe get the parents involved a little bit. But it's also a great way to get the families to interact together instead of dad's going to go over here, mom's going to go over here, kids are going to run over there. This is something that you guys can all do together.
Absolutely. In our experience, some of the funnest times that families have had together is when uncles, aunties, moms, everybody's playing games at the same time. It's always a good time. The expression on the kid's face, I remember one time the parents were out there dancing and playing Guitar Hero, and the kids come out and they're like, what? Like, I didn't know. Like, oh, yeah. Mom and Dad used to get down back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid that my kids, if they would see me going towards Guitar Hero, they know what kind of music I'd listen to. And they're like going, Dad, that stuff is not for outdoor, not for a civil society. So just put it away and let's go do something else. So, but what are some of the best reactions that you get to this from the parents?
The parents, I don't want to say it's a new concept because we've been around since 2009, but it's still kind of misunderstood. So when we pull up, the best reaction from parents is that we are professionals. We are here to, to service you professionally. So I think some of the greatest reactions we've had is at the end of parties. Parents are like, this is awesome. I didn't even know anything about this beforehand. And we've had a cul-de-sac schools that had such a great experience that they called us back 2-3 years in a row. And that's a blessing to us because it's just me, my wife, it's a family owned business, small business. And to be invited back multiple times, you're doing a good job and you're leaving your customers satisfied.
What do you get from the kids? What do the kids say?
Oh, the kids. This is the best birthday ever.
Yeah.
Quoting the children, best birthday ever. And then the kids that are with them have such a good time. Can you come to my birthday? And when I count down to 5 minutes, it's usually, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we try to leave on a good note. So I try to high five everybody on the way out. Thank you for having us.
I know at one point in time you guys were working towards getting another trailer. Are you guys still going to try to get it to where you can help even more people hold bigger parties and stuff?
I'm always thinking about things we can do better and different services we can offer. So yeah, there's a couple things cooking and a couple things in the pipeline that we are trying to offer in the future. I'll give you a mobile laser tag is something we're looking at because I feel like video games are specific. There's a certain group of people that don't like video games. It's a niche market, but everybody loves laser tag. I mean, you could have grandma out there playing laser tag. We've messed around with it a little bit and we got a really good reaction from it. So we're trying to set it up to our standards because we usually have pretty high standards on things. So we want it to be just as good or better than the game truck itself.
What happened with laser tag? At one point in time, it was like the hottest thing in the world, and then it kind of disappeared for a little while, and then it came back a little bit, and then it disappeared again, and now it's back and it's like everywhere again. Yeah, here we go. Daniel's saying if you're interested in escaping Colorado winter, come and see him for Rescue to Residents in SoCal. He'd love to have you out there for a fundraiser out there. So help them build some ambulance or homes out of ambulances. So
awesome. Dad, tell you that there are tons of game trucks in your area. So if you get on Google, search it up, there will be tons. And I am sure that some of them would love to help.
I'll tell you this, Daniel, we'll still do everything that we can to make sure that we're trying to help you, even if it's from afar, because again, your program is well worth it. So, you and your beautiful wife, you guys, this isn't the only thing you guys do. You also have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we do. My wife she works for Northwestern Mutual and she's a financial advisor. And myself, I work for Occidental Petroleum. So yeah, we have full-time jobs on top of this. And 2 young children.
Yep. It's no longer just Justice.
No, Justice and new baby Zaire, which is 6 months.
Wow, that's amazing! Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Are you looking to where this is going to be your thing? This is what you're going to do for a living? Is that what you want to build this up to be? Or are you okay with it being just a side gig?
I'd like to build it up. Currently, I'm in the process of trying to figure out the W-2 employee position and how taxes and everything work. So, I'm an entrepreneur on the weekends. I try to learn as much as I can, and I'm growing slowly but surely. So that's one of the things I want to implement, be able to, because I think this is a great job for a teenager, learn a little bit of entrepreneurship, learn some skills, learn how to interact with the crowd. So I'm trying to figure that out right now and trying to implement the W-2 position to somebody.
Well, let me ask you this. What, interacting with the crowd, what are some of the skills that somebody would have to do this job? I mean, obviously there would have to be patience.
Yeah. An absolute must is you would have to love children. Absolutely love children. Growing up, my mother always had children around. She ran a daycare. So I'm used to it, I have my children. Children are just awesome, man. They make you remember the good times when you were growing up, and they bring back memories, and it's amazing. They would have to have good patience to work with children. They would have to have public speaking skills because you have to give directions. Have to have some sort of leadership skills because if you're dealing with, a 7-8-year-old, that's kind of difficult. Learn how to navigate that situation. And as far as like my position goes, if I was to have somebody fully take the truck and go out without me, you would have to have truck and trailer experience and knowledge. It's a unique set of skills. It's like this weird set of skills all matched together. You have to understand gaming. You have to like kids. You have to know technically how to troubleshoot a generator if anything were to happen in electrical systems.
See, I think that this picture here is a really, really cool picture because I mean, look at all those. There's not a bored face in there, is there? I mean, all these kids are sitting there. All these kids are excited. You got dad and well, it looks like a couple dads and a couple moms sitting in here, and dads are just as engaged as anybody.
Oh yeah.
So, how many people can play at once?
It depends on the size of the children, but typically we get up to 16 at one time. If the kids are older, we can get about 10, if they're like 16, 17, 18. But we have handheld units as well. So we have 5 different screens, which you can fit 4 players on each screen. But then we have handheld units and Nintendo Switches, and we have 9 of those. So,
wow, that's amazing.
There's usually someone sitting around not playing games unless they just want to watch, and that happens often.
Well, when we get together and do this, I promise I'll be that guy sitting there, standing around just to watch because those controllers really confuse me. I'm not, I'm the old Atari guy, the one button in the joystick. I'm good with that. You add that second button and I'm done.
We got you. We got Galaga and Pac-Man for you. We can get you on there.
There we go. Well, Darius, I am grateful that this was a last minute booking. I'm really glad that we got to get you on. It's been a long time, and I did want your wife and I had been talking, and we're going to be talking soon, but I don't get to talk to you nowhere near enough. So, but the NoCo Family Gaming or Mobile Gaming, NoCo Mobile Gaming is a community pay it forward partner, which means if you hire them through us, they will donate a portion back to a mission of your choice. You tell us what you support. Going ahead.
No, absolutely. We are a partner. We believe in everything that Zach is doing. We love everything that Zach is doing. The idea behind it, how could you not? Community working together is what helps grow, helps people, helps communities grow, and we need each other. So,
yeah, I do appreciate it. So, thank you for joining me tonight. And I look forward to talking to you guys real soon. Let's get together this summer, and we're going to try to do that Families, Cubs, and Causes again this year.
Okay.
We didn't do it last year because, of course, there was that dreaded plague that kicked back in, and it just didn't allow us to play enough. So, but we're going to be trying to do that again. And I'd love to get you guys out there for a little bit, show people what you guys can do. So hopefully you can come out and join us.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you very much. Darius, how do people get a hold of you?
www.nocomobilegaming.com. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook. nocomobilegaming.com. You can go Google us, nocomobilegaming.com. Phone number 970-680-4263. If you forget any of that, Zach knows how to get a hold of us.
Yep. All you got to do is reach out to us, and we can we'll definitely get you connected with them. You can also find their landing page when you go to communitypayitforward.us. And if you go to communitypayitforward.us, you go to, let me get it to pop up here, family fun activities and self-defense. And right there is NOCO Mobile Gaming. And all the information you need to contact them is right there. So tell everybody I said hi. Make sure that Justice knows.
Hi to you. Hold on. You got a second?
Yeah.
Guy will come say hi to you. Come here, Bubba.
Okay, Dad.
Say hi to Zach.
Is that Justice? Hey, buddy, how you doing? It's been a long time. You've kind of grown up since the last time I saw you.
Yeah, he's getting tall. He's getting tall.
Yeah. You're becoming a big man, huh?
Mhm.
And you're now a big brother.
Yeah.
You having fun with that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All righty, buddy.
Mhm.
All right. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Once again, that's NOCO Mobile Gaming. Great organization. Great people. They actually, Daniel, I actually have that game. I actually have that game on one of the old rebuilds, or not the re-releases, the ones that just plug into your TV. I have the old TMNT. Yep. With the ominous music and you do the flips and stuff like that. Still can't play that game anymore either. But so yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, definitely check out NOCO Mobile Gaming. Once again, they are a great partner. They do a lot of things to try to help us out. Oh yeah, I love the one-up arcade cabinets too. I'm a Golden Tee guy. I love Golden Tee. I would play that forever if I had it. So that's the reason my wife won't let me have one. It's because I will play it forever. So I want to thank Darius for joining us, and please make sure that you go and check him out. All you got to do is hire him, and you can support wonderful, wonderful programs. And please remember right now, for the month of March, Rescue Residents is they're our mission of the month. And please do us a favor, go back and share this, because the information that the project that they're doing here is it's fascinating. Okay, we talked last Wednesday, as many of you guys joined us, and you guys participated and saw there is a lot of problems out there, and people who are saying, well, yeah, there's problems out there, but you're not, they're not doing anything about it, not really helping that problem. So when you get people like Daniel out there who is taking, what I mean, if you want to look at it when it comes to the waste that's going on in the world, he's taking something that's going to potentially just be scrapped, landfill, whatever, and he's turning it into a functional home, giving skills and allowing individuals to take and add themselves to it. It's not just, this isn't a cookie cutter thing. Okay. This isn't a cookie cutter thing. You get in there, you get to deal with this, you get to put it together on your own. And once again, they are looking for they're looking for sponsors to come and join them on a potential project. And if you want to get a hold of them, please contact us. You can get a hold of me using my card right here. And all you got to do is get a hold of us, and I'll hook you up with Daniel, and you guys can talk about it. I'm not going to share anything with you right now because it's his deal, and I'm excited for him. I do know that. So, and I really hope that it gets going. I wanted to, again, this was brought up, and this is something that we were talking about last Monday. If you go to militarytimes.com/veterans 2022/09/17 veteran suicide rates may be doubled, federal estimates, and they talk about some of the problems with reporting and who is reporting what. There are a lot of states that are not reporting overdoses as suicides, and there are a lot of states that report states as suicide. Overdoses as suicides. Those are gonna make the numbers a little bit different. And I think that one of the things that we should really try to do is we should look at the numbers themselves on people who are dying. Okay. I think that we need to look at these numbers, and we need to really, really focus on the people who are dying unnecessarily. Call it a suicide, call it a drug overdose, call it what you want. It's still a death that didn't need to happen, and we need to find ways around it. I do recommend you go to this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop off here real quick, and I'm going to put this in the chat, so it's hyperlinked for you to take a look at right there. But look at this story, and maybe it'll kind of clear a couple things up. Okay, we did have during the and this is the point I brought up last week. During the State of the Union address, our president made mention that we were losing 18 a day. I'm sorry, that's not the correct number. This kind of explains why there's such a disparity in number. And I think, personally, that if we don't come to a place where we can all talk about the same number, it's going to have people looking at us like we don't know what we're talking about. And I think that if we're sitting there and we're not all talking the same language, if we're all throwing stuff out there, if we're all saying stuff that is different than someone else, I think all that's going to do is really confuse people. And I don't see that as being the best way for us to get our message across. Yeah, and Daniel, that's the number that we were reporting. Is 44. We were seeing statistics that were going anywhere from 44 to 47 a day. So, yeah. Oh no, I'm not going to do a 44-hour live stream. No. And maybe that. Then again, I am trying to raise money for this. That would be one way to get people to donate, is to shut me up. So, whatever. I couldn't sit here for 44 hours. I've got to sand down my sand down my floor. I've now got this get an extra host. Other people think I'm nuts. I'm not sure how much they would like to do this, but yeah, I've now got divots in my floor, and I've got a concrete floor from sitting here for 22 hours. We do want to let you guys know that there is some news coming up with Community Mission to Rescue 22. We are going to be doing some additional stuff with it because, well, you're more than welcome to join us, Daniel. And I definitely appreciate that. I would love to have you on next February for the 22nd, February 22nd. But the one thing, there we go. Firewatch around the clock. This is almost sounding like it's going to be a plan. We'll end up doing a huge telethon here. So, who knows? We may be onto something here, guys. But the one thing that I have the biggest fear about, okay, My biggest fear is that we did a great thing together on the 22nd. You guys participated. You guys joined us. We talked to some great people. We heard some horrible, horrible, horrible stories. We talked to one lady who was the one who went and she found her best friend in the world just about an hour and a half after she had shot herself. We listened to this story and it was very, very tragic, and it was hard to listen to. But the truth is that those stories need to keep being told. I'm working with a group of people, and we are going to take Community Mission to Rescue 22 is going to become a weekly show because we started doing something good. But if we stop doing something good, what good are we doing? We need to ride this wave to save people's lives. Okay? Suicide is not just a veteran thing, and we realize this. It's not just a hero thing. In 2018, 2020, the report I had where there were 81 people in general, all over 81 people a day that were taking their lives. Now, if you want something that's potentially good news, in 2018, that number was 125. So it did go down, okay? Here's the problem. Something happened in 2020. We all know what it was. And we all are very well aware of what happened with the numbers. We know that there were a lot more suicides, 2022, through 2022. It doesn't matter if the number is 1. It doesn't matter if the number is 44. It doesn't matter if the number is 82, whatever. To the people who lost somebody, those numbers are insignificant. What matters is we need to work together to make sure that we can start this conversation. I say this a lot, and I know I'm annoying the hell out of probably a lot of you, okay? And I'm sorry about that. But the truth is that if we're sitting there and we're talking to somebody and we leave them alone, we say, you know what? I'm sorry, I got to go, and their problem's not out in the open, you may never see that person again. We've got plenty of people out there who are working diligently trying to change lives. You listen to 2 of them today. 3 of them, sorry. 3 of them. And then there was also that fat guy host. He wouldn't shut up either. But there are people out there who are trying hard every day to make a difference. If you know somebody who's at risk, and I'm not going to say that this is definitely going to make the difference, but I'm going to tell you this. If we don't do anything, we know it definitely won't make the difference. So if you're looking for some help, call us. Again, reach out to us here at Community Pay It Forward, and we will reach out to some of the people that we know, and we will try to find help. Okay? We've got wonderful people out here. We've got wonderful contacts. While Rescue Residence is not up and running, isn't it kind of nice to know that we know the person that's doing that, that's there, that's boots on the ground, that's doing wonderful things, trying to help people? Even if we can't help them with Rescue Residence right this second, maybe Daniel's got people that he can talk to that can help out. We know he's got resources throughout the VA, through VFWs and stuff like that. We know that there are other avenues out there. We need to stop leaving people alone when they're in trouble. When we leave them alone, they're alone. I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous way to put it, but it's true. When you leave someone alone, when you leave them to their own device, right there. When you leave them to their own device, they feel left out. They feel lost. They feel alone. We all want to be left alone every once in a while, but nobody wants to be alone. That's humans are that way. Nobody wants to be alone all the time. Okay? There are so many people out there who are trying different things. There are so many people out there that are working towards building those, that are bridging those gaps, trying to find things. Brian Gibson from Project Die Hard, he pulled that gun out of his mouth. He's working on bridging that gap. He's working on trying to find a way to cause hope. Talking every day to people who say, well, this world's just garbage now, and we don't know. There are portions of this world that's garbage, but I'm going to guarantee you that this world is a hell of a lot better with you in it than you checking out. Right there is exactly what I was talking about. Enrique talking about how, if they're within a distance, they're going to drive. We know, and it's very acceptable. Not everyone is the person that can sit there and handle emotionally themselves to sit down and listen to somebody. We understand this, but that's still no excuse for leaving somebody without any hope. You can still make that phone call. You can still sit there. You can still make sure that they're loved. There are so many people who are trying great things. Healing Warriors here in Colorado, they're doing the gun safes, where what you do is they're asking you to put a picture of someone you care about on that gun safe. Asked a couple people if they think that's going to work. A couple said yes. A couple said no. Here's the thing: they're doing something. They're trying something. We all know that pictures can be a positive thing. Pictures can be a negative thing. Okay? A picture could hurt somebody. So I understand what they were saying about that. But if you see somebody who puts a picture of their child on a locked box, and they have to look into the eyes of that child, maybe that's going to change your mind a little bit. At least for that split second, and make them think, I'm going to give it another shot. That's when you can jump in and say, what can we help you with? How can we help you? Would you give me a chance to make a phone call and find somebody who can be there for you? You're sitting here right now watching this, and you're seeing two people who are typing on here. Here you go. You're seeing two people who are typing things in here that are suggestions on what you can do. Here, that's the statement that we're making. He's here because of them. They were all the way in New York City. I love this statement. All the way in New York City, or North Carolina. New York City, Jesus. I had that much wine, and I'm already goofy. Great wine. I'm just a lightweight now. But they still found a way to help. We're not asking you to sit there and hold hands with somebody. We're not asking you to do things that are making you feel uncomfortable. If you know you're not emotionally able to handle it, there are hundreds and thousands of millions of people out there who would gladly like to step in and talk to them. We watched on last Wednesday, we watched a group of veterans play video games together. And this is great because we just had Darius on. They sat there and they played video games together, and they were able to talk like they talked when they were in the service together. They were, was it something that all of us in the civilian life would understand? Hell no. But they were able to communicate together. They were able to say things together. And it meant the world to them. And it gave them a little bit of freedom in every single one of them. Now I know two of them personally, and I've heard the stories about the other ones. Every single one of them have had those dark thoughts. We heard the story on Wednesday about how, oh, you can tell when somebody's going to do BS. You can't tell if somebody's just had a bad day. Yeah, there are signs that somebody's going through something difficult. There are signs out there. But if you can sit there and think that you're going to tell me what I'm going to do next, I'm going to throw the switch and I'm going to do something completely different just because you think you know what I'm going to do. There are signs. There are signs like, somebody's given away their most, here you go. That's what we were able to ask the other night is, were you not called because she knew that you would try to talk her out of it? And she said, absolutely, that's why I wasn't called. Right here. They're trained. They're trained, so they know what to hide. I mean, it's, Look, if somebody starts giving away everything that they hold dear, you know that there's a problem. Okay, that's a fact in all of life. If somebody starts giving away everything that they've valued for a long time, that happens when you age. You start making sure that the people know, or the people that you want to obtain things, they get those things. So this is something that happens. That is something, and if it's coming from a healthy person, that's something maybe you want to take a look at and go, whoa, wait, let's talk. But the one thing in the world you don't want to do is just close that door and say, you know what, they got to work it out. It's a possibility. If they knew how to work it out, they would have worked it out a long time ago. They wouldn't be in this situation. I'm just a guy trying to do this, man. You guys are the ones who give me the inspiration. You truly do. Community Pay It Forward is here for one reason. I want to be the support for the great people like Rescue Residents, like Project Die Hard, like Veterans Ranch, like Martyred Angels. People who have went through and found a solution to a problem that they had. Did they find the perfect solution? No, but they found a solution. They found a solution. And if we can work together, we can put our solutions together and we can make a real difference. That's why we say We need to come together. No one ever has to go it alone when we all come together. If we're working together, if we take suggestions from each other, if we forget left, right, Christian, Muslim, black, white, if we forget all that garbage and we remember that, you know what, it's cold out here. That cold can kill me, it can kill you. Hunger, it can kill me. Well, it can definitely kill me. I'm a fat guy. It can really hurt you. It can kill you. If we remember that we're one person, why can't we work together? We don't have to get along all the time. God, I'm not even sure I would like anybody who tries to get along with me all the time. I think some wackadoo things. I'm not sure if I would like somebody who agrees with me all the time. You know, that's true, Daniel. One of my favorite, and my wife bought this for me. She said, you know, always keep fat friends. You know, you can get away from the bear while they're struggling, or whatever it is. You know, so yeah. So I'm the one who the bear's going to be eating me instead of you in the jungle or in the woods. But yeah, so yeah, Enrique, I'd love to talk to you sometime. Daniel, please go on ahead and share my information with them if you would like. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to, if you're willing to talk about your story, I'd love to get you on here. But we will be, no, we will be expanding bare necessities. That's it. We will be expanding the mission to Rescue 22. We are going to be putting out a weekly podcast of organizations that are out there trying to make a difference. We want to make it to where people can find the resources that they need. Working with great people like Stephanie, she's doing some wonderful things out there. She's going to be building some things that she can use your help, and you know what? She can use your experience. It's a big country, but it's not hard to navigate back and forth. Giving each other experience, giving each other knowledge, giving each other, good God, giving each other the thumbs up every once in a while, a pat on the back means a lot. And the support can mean so much. Allowing us to tell your story, allowing us to tell who you are, what you do, why you do it. It's not new. We all know that word of mouth is one of the best ways to get around, to get your word out there. Well, this is what we want to do, because you know what? The more people who know about the nonprofits in this world, the more we're going to do, you know, the more they're going to be able to do. Because the worst thing in the world for a nonprofit to hear, the worst thing in the world for any business to hear is, I wish I would have known about you before ... You found a talker. You found a guy who likes to talk. You found people. Oh, I love to see that my dear friend Janet's here. I love you, Janet. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, but we are going to turn what we did last Wednesday into a weekly thing, because all of these programs that you've heard from in the last week, we need everybody to know that they're there. Because if everybody knows that they're there, they can share this information. If you don't know it's there, you can't share it. It's simple. Let's turn what we've started. And this is what we've started. I didn't do this. I turned on a camera. You guys joined me and talked. You guys told me your stories. You guys told people what you can do. That's what's important. If we let people know that you're out there, are we going to save 44 a day? Not if we don't try. Who says it's impossible? I don't even want to say it's unlikely. I'm going to say it's not going to happen if we don't try. So, I want to thank everybody who joined us last Wednesday. I just want to take a real quick moment to thank everybody who took time out, because there's there it is. Yep, you miss every shot that you don't take. We started it at and I'm going to use Mountain Time because I'm in Mountain Time, but I was joined at 2:15 a.m. by the paranormal Reverend. You guys, anybody who watches the pACT channel every once in a while, you get to know him. Kind of looks like a cherub wearing a Reverend's outfit and talks about paranormal stuff. Pretty good time. It was actually really great. Then I was joined by Trevor Gibbs. Trevor Gibbs is trying to help you make sure that your websites are all ADA compliant. Why is this important? Well, because if somebody who's blind, or if somebody who is colorblind even, can't look at your website, you're going to lose business. Oh, and by the way, there's also lawyers out there that are gaining $75,000 every time they take one of these businesses to court. That $75,000 isn't going to help anybody. It's going to help a lawyer. Check out Trevor, see what he can do to help you out. Then we were joined by the goddess of the grapes, Stephanie Simoes. And we were able to talk about the stuff that we've done, the stuff that we're going to do, the stuff that we're going to continue to do. Yep. That's true, Stephanie. His features people who are hard, as we get older, it's harder to read small print. So Carolyn Rasmussen, then she came on and she joined us with the Pampered Chef special, which is still going on. If you go to the Pampered Chef special and you purchase something, a portion of that can go to help everybody that we were trying to help the other day. We're going to make it, this is a yearly thing. We're going to start raising money and we're going to start helping these people. We're going to do some great things together. But right now you can still do it by going to the Pampered Chef, and you can find all this stuff on the website if you go to the Mission to Rescue 22 webpage. I was then joined by a dear friend, Susan Ahern. Susan, sweetie, you had hip surgery today. I really hope that everything's going great. Please reach out if you need anything. Got to meet Mark Hattis for the first time. Had a really, really good time with him. Then I got to talk to Sandy Abate, great partner. She was the first one that when she found out I was doing this for year 2, she was like, I want in. Then we were joined by our dear friend, Janet from Healing Warriors, Scott O'Sullivan of O'Sullivan Law Firm and Ryder Justice, Z World Webs and Alan Holmes. You guys are going to get to know a lot more about them here in the upcoming weeks, because they might have a lot of something to do with this Mission to Rescue 22. The Simpson family was on, giving us a lot of information about some new healing techniques that are out there with less medications, more natural reactions, which is truly the best way to go about it. You know, the more junk you put in your body, the more junk your body has to put out. We were joined by Larry Goldstein after that. He was talking to us how if you were in business during the COVID times and your business suffered it all, without paying him a dime, he can get your company money. We were then joined by Jeremy York, and we had a special edition of the Nick Files, where Nick talked about the most haunted military bases in America. It was such a fantastic time. And then, of course, I got to get out of here for an hour because my beautiful bride and Adrian and Jan took over for an hour. And then we were on with Eileen and Eileen and the stories we heard in that hour. That's where we heard about the lady who lost her best friend, and she discovered her best friend an hour and a half after she shot herself. All of this is available still at the website, and you can find it there. If you need any information, please just give me a call. Richard Kaufman, one of the best-known veteran podcasters in the United States, joined us. And then dear friend to the program, Steve Palak, joined me. And then we watched people play video games for a couple hours. Daniel and Janet, I'm going to send an email invitation to you guys. Daniel, Janet takes part in Healing Warriors here in Colorado. They offer free health care to veterans. And Janet, Daniel is building tiny homes out of ambulances. So I think that there's some, I really think that there's some good things that can happen with you two. So my 2 hours is up. Thank everybody who joined us tonight. Thank you for everything that you put out here. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Darius. Janet, thank you for popping on. Always love to hear from you. And Enrique, it was great to meet you. I can't wait till we get to talk a little bit more. Folks, please remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go alone when we all come together. Please, put an extra hoodie in your car. You don't need it. If you're not wearing it, you don't need it. If somebody's struggling with the cold, make sure they get it. Maybe something little to you, it could save their lives. Say the wife makes some extra food. Throw it in the old hillbilly Tupperware. Give it to somebody who's struggling with the cold or with hunger. Look, food's food. We all need it. So I look forward to that's good to know because I'm probably going to screw it up. So, but again, I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight, and please make sure that you use this QR code for the next month. Support Rescue Residents. It's a great program. If you don't know what it's about, go to Rescue Residents. Let me get it here. Well, go to NOCO Mobile Gaming as well, but rescueresidents.org. Also check out Darius and everything that they do at nocomobilegaming.com. Please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Thank you very much. And let's just make sure that we're taking care of each other because you know what? This is all we got.
Bring me home out alone and show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.